The Kuwait National Development Plan sets the nation's long-term development priorities. It's organized around 7 pillars or areas of focus for investment and improvement. Infrastructure. Develop and modernize the national infrastructure to improve the quality of life for all citizens.
Construction, completion and maintenance of roads, sewage and other services for the road between Mina, Abdullah and AL-wafra. It includes the construction of a new road, including 9 interchanges, roadworks, protection and relocation of services, KOC pipelines, water and sewers, construction of traffic diversions, roadworks, street lighting and agriculture. Completion percentage of the project is at 28%. The project comes within the framework of the projects implemented by the Ministry of Public Works in order to facilitate traffic for residents of Sabah Al-Ahmed and Al-Wafra. The project will contribute to reducing traffic accidents, upgrading security and safety, rehabilitating existing roads and establishing modern roads according to the design criteria of highways. The total length of roads are 41 kilometers in addition to 9 intersections, mostly of upper bridges to facilitate traffic. The value of the contract for the construction, completion and maintenance of roads, bridges, rainwater, sanitary and other services for the road between Mina, Abdullah and Al-Wafra is 82,800,000 Kuwaiti dinars.
The annual plan 2017-2018 is scheduled to continue 164 projects that will contribute more than 50 billion in revenue. From Mashru' Kuwaiti account, the first ring development project phase 2, 8%, 3 intersections, 5 bridges, 3 tunnels, 2 infantry bridges renewing all service networks. Initiation of the first cycle project phase 2, which includes a range of bridges, tunnels and infrastructure renovation. Picture showing the final shape after the completion of the first ring development projects phase 2. New Kuwait government account, the Cairo Street project starts from the first ring street to Baghdad Street to secure continuous traffic. For more information or details regarding Kuwait development projects, please visit the website on the screen.
The history of the book in Islam, a well-known professor, Frederick Bodine, intrigued the audiences recently with his insightful lecture titled, "Of Buying Many Books There Is No End, Paratextual Marks as a Source for the History of the Book in Islam." The lecturer delved into the topic, uncovering layers in a topic that seemed to be of great interest to an attentive audience.
I'm going to explain that in Islam, books were bought by collectors, sometimes by scholars too, and in order to indicate that they bought the book, they would leave in the book an indication, a mark. Usually, for instance, an ownership mark. They would say, "This book belonged to me." So in English, that's what usually is called ex libris. So a plate that you would put at the beginning or at the end of the book, indicating that the book belonged to you. And these marks are very important nowadays because they help us to, for instance, reconstruct the libraries of scholars from the Middle Ages, and also to study which books they bought, at what price, when in their career, and for instance also if they exploited those books, if they read them and took notes out of them.
During the Mamluk period, Cairo was renowned for its book markets and the richness of its public and private libraries. Paratextual marks, the focus of this lecture, which are now the subject of great scrutiny as information on the history of the books.
The main objective is to try to write a history of book collecting in Islam in the medieval period and up to the modern times, in order to understand how those libraries were built by their owners, why they selected this book and not this one, for instance, to study also the book market in the medieval period and the modern period, in order to understand how these books were sold, in which circumstances, in which locations, etc., etc.
Professor Frederick Bodin is a professor of Arabic language and Islamic studies at the University of Leeds, focusing on Mamluk historiography, diplomatics, and codiology.